Alright, so today I have Becky with me, and she just dropped off this big horse behind us here. Becky, can you tell us a little bit about this horse?
Well, this mare I rescued from a kill lot in Oklahoma back in November, and she's a bucking bred mare that from off of a ranch originally in Idaho. She was shipping to slaughter. She is very skeptical, snorty, scared, but she has an interesting side about it. She's also curious, and she's not particularly defensive, but she doesn't want you to have anything to do with her.
Well, cool. We'll see what we can do with her. In this video today, we're going to be working with this bucking bred horse. She's snorty as all get out. Let's get into it. All right, so coming into this round pen with this horse, and we don't know a whole lot about her. We know she's been rescued, and a stock contractor, you know, we don't know why they got rid of her. Typically, a stock contractor really takes good care of their horses because their horses are their investment. And when they go to the rodeos and take the bucking stock there, they want them to perform well, so they really take care of their horses. So we're not sure why she was at the rescue and all that, but Becky from Windy Hill Equine Rescue has her here in training with me, and she wants to do what's best for this mare. As you can see, like, her hooves are really long, they need to be trimmed. But at this point, nobody can handle this horse. So my goal would be to get to where I can start touching her, rubbing on her, and get some kind of handle on her so we can lead her around, so we can trim her feet and give her the care she needs. And at this point, we can't do any of that. So as I'm starting to think about how I can approach this horse, the first thing I typically start doing is walking around the horse and seeing if her mind will follow me. And basically, I'm almost ignoring her and just walking over here to see how she responds to my movement. As you can see, she's really snorty, but that to me doesn't bother me that she's snorty. I really like to see how she responds. And see right there, when I put pressure on her hindquarter, she stepped over. And so I released her by standing here and just checking out her mind. There, she's licking a little bit. That's a great sign. One thing I'm noticing right up front is when I come to this side, she tends to avoid me, or basically try to block me from going to her right side. But what I do like is that she's not trying to run away from me. So right here, I'm just going to put a little pressure on that hindquarter. And every try that she makes, I'm going to stand still and release her from any kind of pressure. All of this, it comes down to pressure and the release of pressure. Horses learn through the release of pressure, and that pressure comes in a lot of different ways. And just me walking around here is pressure on her. It's not much, but to her it's a lot. So because of her try there, I'm going to start moving this whip and just seeing how she'll respond to this. Great job. And when I started moving this whip here, it was interesting how she quit snorting. She got real quiet there again. But as soon as I started moving my legs, she was ready to move away. So I'm just going to slowly lift this, and we're going to try to come in here, and there we go. Got a little nibble there. I like that curiosity and that playfulness. So right there, that was a huge step for her. She took a step toward me, and I'm always careful when that happens. I've worked with a lot of wild Mustangs, and when they take a step toward you this early when they're wild, you got to watch that it's not an aggressive move. And so I'm always aware of that, and it's good to have something in your hand in case it would be an aggressive move. But to her, with her, it doesn't seem that way. It just seems like she's really curious. So I'm going to go ahead and see if I can rub her again. And I love how she's taking hold of that. So the next step there, she jumped, and it's because I came in there just a little too quick. So I have to be really careful here. I want to make progress, but I can't move too quick yet. So that was huge. I was able to rub her on the neck with that whip, and she stayed there, so I took it away. Anytime, like right here, I'm rubbing down her neck, and she really tried by standing there, so I'm going to take that pressure away. And that's where we can oftentimes get a little greedy. If a horse is trying like that, we just keep going further and further, and all of a sudden they're out. So I try to be really aware of their try, and when they give me a little bit, I'm going to reward them by taking all that pressure away, and then hopefully they'll keep trying and keep giving me more. So now I'm going to see if we can approach her on this side where she's a little more defensive. And if she backs up, I'm just going to go with her until she stops backing, just in a slow way. And there I'm able to rub her neck just a little bit and take the pressure away. But she reminds me so much of a Mustang. You know, when I get a wild Mustang in for training, I've done a lot of Mustang makeovers, and we do a similar setup here where we back the trailer up to the round pen and we let them run out, and that's what we did with her. And they live in here until we can handle them, until we can halter them and lead them around. And so I like to get there as soon as possible so we can get them out of this setup and out of the weather. My next step, I'm going to try to come in with my hand and see if I can just rub her above her nose and just give her a nice little rub. And when I come in with my hand like this, I like to just kind of move my hand around a little bit and not be too still and too quiet. And I'm just really focused on her bubble here. And so far she seems fine with this. So I'm very slow in approaching, because if you come in too fast, they would duck and dive and possibly strike if you scare them. But I typically like to come in there. She kind of flicked her nose up and scared herself. But we're kind of getting too close to the fence here. So I'm gonna take that pressure away. Because you can see she scares herself really easily. Like that time her legs hit and she might have seen something behind her, and she's a reactive kind of a horse, so have to be real careful here. And at this point, I'm also going to move a circle or two, move her around, and just change things up. Just loosen her up a little bit. Because if things get too tense and too quiet, then they start freaking out. And even here, I'm gonna come in a little closer, and then for her sake, we're just gonna move around a little more. So the reason I like to approach them from the front like this is I feel like they have to learn to face their fear or what they're worried about. And if she's a little worried about me, I'm saying, can you trust me in this situation? Now, that's not the approach I take on every single horse. Like, if it is an aggressive horse, this is not exactly the great approach on it, because you could get hurt. But for her, I feel like this is a really good approach on her, because it teaches her to face what she's worried about. Good job. Good job. There. See, that time I softly rubbed her and she stayed quiet. So I took that pressure away and just let her think about that. And we'll see what she does with that. There, she's licking. I love that. Oh, look at that. And she came closer there, but it didn't look like an aggressive kind of a move. It just looked like she's curious. And so because of that, I'll see if I can just rub her. And I have to be super, super slow here because I don't want to scare her in any way. There, excellent. So I'm gonna loosen up and get casual here again and see if we can loosen her up. And take a deep breath. Okay, so this is the next thing I'll start doing, is moving both hands, and what I like to do now is see if I can approach her without the whip of my hands and come at her with both my hands and see if I can just kind of hold her head just a little bit. I'm not trying to do anything with it. It's just a little different approach. She can see both my hands here, and I'm gonna move them just a little bit. I'm not trying to surprise her. But this is more intimidating, so she can either trust me to another level or she can run away from it. It's her choice. I'm trying to build her trust here, so I'm not wanting her to run away, so. We'll just see what happens here. So if she gets quiet here, then I'm gonna take that pressure away. Good job. There she's licking again and letting down. And I'm going to just casually come in like this again. And this can be dangerous depending on the horse, because you are close to them. You're coming in with two hands. But in this particular situation, I feel like it will help her. So I'm going to rub with one hand, then the other, and then eventually with both. I am keeping my hands far enough up that she can't nibble at my fingers. Good, there I rub with both hands, just a touch. And she quit snorting there for a while. Good job. Come in super slow, super steady. There I was able to rub with both hands. But see, when my hands went down there, I went down just a little too fast, and that's how reactive she is. So I have to be super slow at this stage. Good job. So I really have to be paying attention, because I could get hurt. If I would go to move too fast, she could spin around and kick me pretty fast. So I have to be super slow here, but yet stay casual. So that's why I move my hands around a lot out here, and I try to stay loose, because I don't want to get her too tense and too tight, or things will escalate pretty fast. Good job. All right, great. So my release is when she gets really quiet, and maybe I'll rub her, maybe I won't, but when she gets really quiet, that's when I take the pressure away. Excellent. All right, good job, good job. So her reactions here are getting a lot slower. Good. There we go. That time she stayed steady through that whole time I had my hands on her. She stayed real steady. So that's where I'm going to wrap it up with her. In the next session, we're going to be building on that and seeing if we can put a rope around her neck to get her coming to pressure, and maybe putting a halter on her. We'll see. Yeah, I hope to see y'all there.